Gotta make the new TCG exclusive. All right. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. Konami has heard our prayers. Faced with what was expected to be a Tier 0 adjacent Malice format, only one thing in ALIN could put a stop to the Cyberse singularity: the second wave of a TCG exclusive. I was resigned to another 6 months of combo slop, but folks, they're nice. Presenting Mitsurugi. So here's the list. This is Jim Mayorga's top 4 list from YCS Providence. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, new affiliate PogChamp. Today we're talking about Figgies. All right, this one's going to require a little explanation. So, First 4 Figures is a brand you've probably already seen online. They make these insanely detailed statues that are super high quality and also $400. I think these look awesome, but they are pretty far out of my price range. So as a response, they came up with a collectible for the broke millennial crowd that's affordable on an avocado toast budget without looking like that one funky statue company. The name is just not popping into my head. That product is called Figgies, and they're collectible magnetic pixel art statues. They have a magnetized swappable backplate with a repeating background, so you can set them up how you like for a stream setup or a gamer dungeon. They're partnering with a ton of IPs, including some with like no good merch yet, which is nice. They hit me up because as part of their first wave, they're doing this thing in drops. They're releasing some Yugi ones. We got the Pharaoh and his boys, DM, DMG, BLS. They feel sturdy. They come with a wall mount. I should mention they're also $15. This isn't like a god card situation. Anyway, if you're interested, they're currently in pre-launch. So if you click that link in the description, you're going to get to a page where you enter your email. Then in early June, you'll get a message for an early access shop where you can enjoy 5% off your order, courtesy of yours truly. They wanted to give me 4, and I said, I'll settle for no less than 5. That didn't happen. I'm lying. All right, back to the video. So with that, let's mess with Mitsurugi. Mitsurugi has succeeded where no archetype since Necroz has. It's a playable series of ritual monsters. And I'm not talking Drytron, who maybe flirted with blue as part of an end board or a non-once-per-turn searcher. This deck's entire game plan is summoning big-ass rituals early and often, and they're damn good at it. After the first wave of support last set, the Mitsurugi were immediately playable in Ryuj as a powerful mechanism to give the otherwise pretty samey deck a little bit of flexibility. They performed admirably in this role, if not a little less effectively than Fiendsmith. As a result, when time came for the second wave of support, players waited with bated breath to see if Mitsurugi could stand on its own or be another almost good enough TCG exclusive. Well, you don't have to wait anymore. Mitsurugi's second wave is unbelievable. It's better than the first wave. Everything from pre-prep targets to archetypal kaijus to Habakiri, a card so good I think it'll be a meter stick by which we measure other cards from here on out. These cards are good in 2 roles. Firstly, as an engine in Ryuj, which make no mistake, we will test, and secondly, as a deck with an engine so good at playing into established boards, it's completely foregone non-engine mechanisms to constrain opponents' plays. No Ash, no spot negation, instead, 7 maxis, thrust for talents, and the boogeyman of the format, Dominus Impulse. That's your prize for leaving your Ryuj in the binder. The best card in the format. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, Ame no Habakiri no Mitsurugi, a card specifically designed to punish us for calling the other one Ame. You can ritual summon this card with Mitsurugi Ritual. Monsters your opponent controls lose 800 attack. Reveal this card in your hand to special summon a Mitsurugi monster from your deck, then tribute a monster you control. That's a once per duel, and if tributed, you can add a Mitsurugi from your deck to your hand, except itself, then special summon this card. After that is Murakumo no Mitsurugi. This can be ritual summoned with Mitsurugi Ritual, and if special summoned, can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can activate this effect, your opponent can discard a card, or the effect is negated, and if tributed, you can add a Mitsurugi from your deck to your hand, except itself, then special summon this card. Finally, we're on 1 copy of Futsu, which has gotten just so much better in the wake of the second wave of support. Can be ritual summoned with Mitsurugi Ritual. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can target a reptile monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if this card is tributed, you can add a Mitsurugi card from your deck to your hand, except for Futsu, then special summon this card. 3 copies of the new Mitsurugi no Mikoto Aramasa. If this card is normally special summoned or tributed, you can add a Mitsurugi from your deck to your hand, except itself. And if another reptile you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can tribute this card instead. We are on one Saji and one Kusanagi, really important for not only sending from the deck to the graveyard, but also being the card you E-Tele from off Habakiri. We're also playing one copy of Wowsu. This card's a little funky. It can be specialed by tributing another reptile monster from your hand and a monster your opponent controls. Very powerful. But you cannot special summon or activate monster effects for the rest of the turn except reptile monsters' effects. This is a big lock. It's not to be taken lightly, and so Wowsu is a little difficult to actually deploy. You can only special this card once per turn this way, and if tributed, you can discard a card, and if you do, add it to your hand. After that, we've got 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites, courtesy of Mitsurugi Mirror. This card can be used to ritual summon any reptile ritual monster from your hand or graveyard, tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster, blah, 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 blah. Here's the shout-out. If Ame no Murakumo no Mitsurugi, Futsu no Mitama no Mitsurugi, or Ame no Habakiri no Mitsurugi, you control is tributed while this card is in your graveyard, shuffle this card into the deck. That's enough to get it into the best +1 of 2017. We're playing 2 copies of Extravagance and 1 copy of Prosperity, 3 copies of Mitsurugi Ritual, 3 copies of Prayers, and 1 copy of Magatama, new card PogChamp, which during the main phase allows you to tribute a reptile monster, then target a face-up card your opponent controls, destroy it, or ritual summon a Mitsurugi Ritual from your hand by tributing monsters you control whose total levels equal or exceed it. Finally, we're on 1 Great Purification. Of course, when your opponent activates a card effect, tribute a level 5 or higher reptile, negate the effect, destroy the card. It can be banished to target a reptile in your graveyard, special it, and if you do, tribute another monster you control. Finally, for non-engine, we're on 3 Impulse, 3 Fuelos, 2 Perulia, 2 Meows, 2 Thrust, and a Talent. In the extra, we are on Echidna, double Masquerena, Haggard Lizardos, double SP, Dynamondo, Selene Snapper, Evil Swarm Nightmare, Baguska, double Hopehard, double Typhon, and a Zeus. Kind of a midway point between Extravagance and Prosperity boards. In the side, we've got 3 copies of Lancia, 3 copies of Droll, 1 copy of Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 Gordian Schneider, 1 Mischief of the Gnomes, 1 Artifact Sanctum, and triple Solemn Judgment. So with that, let's check out a game. Our first match is up against Ryuj, and I gotta be honest, this game showcases how good this deck is at playing through an established board. Our opponent's going first, and they are playing into 1 Charmy, pretty frequent in this deck. As a result, they're going to have a little more of a tempered board. They're going to begin with a copy of Diviner of the Herald into a Mistiva in order to get Rising in order to get a new card, PogChamp. They're going to go ahead and set Anva, then activate the effect of Warzone, banishing, sending, and adding. They're going to go for the Hakva here, and then fire off the effect of the Warzone to get 1, 2, 3 in a rotation. Now, one of those was from deck, so we'll draw, then they'll overlay for a Varudra, so we'll draw again. We found another Fuelos, which prompts them to Wormwinds, set 2, and pass. Not a bad end board. They have a lot of interaction. Here's how we're going to beat it. We're going to begin with a copy of Pre-Preparation of Rites. Afterwards, we're going to go for the effect of the Mirror. That's going to fusion summon out our Murakumo. We'll activate the effect. We'll activate the effect of the Habakiri. They will infip. We'll activate Prayers. They'll negate the Prayers, but joke's on you. I just wanted this guy off the field. That means that first effect is going to resolve. We will go ahead and resolve the effect of the Habakiri, and then we'll blow up the board. Afterwards, we'll activate the Murakumo and the Mirror in sequence in order to summon it back to our side of the field. From here, we are going to go for the Mitsurugi Ritual. We will send a couple of cards for our Futsu. We'll trigger the effect of the Kusanagi and the Aramasa at the same time, and we'll go ahead and grab another copy of the Murakumo and cycle this Ritual. We're going to go for the Ritual to get out a Habakiri from deck. Then we'll trigger the effect of the Futsu. They'll trigger the effect of the Hakva. We'll trigger the effect of the Murakumo, forcing them to discard their Carbonedon, and we will go ahead and summon back the Futsu. From here, we can just go ahead and bring out this Wasu by tributing our opponent's monster and get in for lethal. Our opponent does, of course, have a pop, but little do they know, we can use the replacement effect of the Aramasa in order to contest the Ryuj end. Alright, pretty clean game. Our second match is up against Malice. That's right, this deck's good. Well, we're going first for game 2, which is terrible news because our hand is perfect for the draw. Oh boy. These 3 Charmies are going to be about as useful as the TB11 in our opponent's grip. They're just so behind. We're going to begin with a copy of Mitsurugi Ritual after eating a Fuelos. That's going to enable us to get a Futsu from our hand to our field, sending the Kusanagi and the Aramasa. We'll trigger both of those effects. They're going to Ash the Aramasa. No big deal, no big deal. We get to cycle the Ritual. We'll activate the Ritual effect in order to summon from deck a copy of Murakumo. They'll draw a card. We'll activate the effect of the Futsu in graveyard to get a Saji to our hand. We'll normal summon the Saji and activate the effect in order to grab ourselves a copy of Prayers. Down comes Prayers. We're going to tribute this copy of Murakumo to get a Habakiri and then bring out this copy of Aramasa. Murakumo will trigger, summoning itself to our side of the field. Then afterwards, we can overlay for an Evil Swarm Nightmare, drawing them a card and setting 1 before passing. Okay, our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Terraforming. That's going to grab them the field spell. Afterwards, we're going to go for Malice in the Mirror. We do have to contest this with the Great Purification. That card is just unbelievable. We'll trigger the effect of the Murakumo. They will Called by the Grave. Okay, terrible news. Down comes Underground. They're going to go for Underground targeting Dormouse. The Dormouse will summon it to their side of the field. We'll activate the effect of the Evil Swarm Nightmare and the effect of the Futsu in order to bring back this copy of Kusanagi. Afterwards, we'll trigger the effect of the Kusanagi in order to cycle back this copy of Ritual. They will go for Chessy Cat to draw 2. Then they will TB11 the Chessy Cat for a copy of Heart's Cryptor. Chessy Cat comes back. We will Futsu here. They will Impulse. Oh no, what a rip. And we lose our Kusanagi. Afterwards, we'll go for the Nightmare and the Futsu in order to tuck this Chessy Cat, leaving them just on a Heart's Cryptor as we resolve the effect of our Saji. They'll set one card, go to battle, main phase 2, and end, and we should be able to clean it up from here. The Charmy's rotting in our grip, but we will find a use for them eventually. We're going to begin with Ritual in order to grab a copy of Nightmare, then we'll trigger the effect of the Habakiri. That'll cycle the Wasu. They're going to go for Cryptor. We will go for the Graveyard effect of the Great Purification to summon back the Kusanagi, and then afterwards the Futsu goes to the Graveyard, and the Murakamo is banished. We'll go for the effect of the Kusanagi and the effect of the Futsu, and then afterwards we will go ahead and make Dynamondo. Dynamondo effect will target the Habakiri and the Heart's Cryptor. That means we'll be able to use the effect of the Mitsurugi Magatama in order to get the Murakumo from our hand back onto the field, still negated by Called by the Grave, before we go for Mitsurugi Mirror, bringing back the Futsu. From here, Wasu will trigger, we'll get it back to our hand, then we'll summon it, activating the effect of the Aramasa in sequence, before we go for Mitsurugi Ritual, finally bringing out this copy of Habakiri. We'll go to the battle phase and get over for well over lethal, but for the GWC, which, fortunately for us, I think is still not going to be enough after the Futsu activation. 16 and 22. Okay, good. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent is also on Mitsurugi cards. They are playing them in Ryuj. We are going first, so once again, the multi-charm is worth less than nothing, and our opponent has one piece of non-engine. We're going to begin with a copy of pre-preparation of rights to get a mirror. Afterwards, we're going to go for the Habakiri, activate against effect for a Saji. Saji to the graveyard, trigger the effect of the Saji, and go ahead and cycle ourselves a copy of the Mitsurugi Ritual. We'll fire that to send a Kusanagi and an Aramasa to the graveyard for the Habakiri. We'll trigger those effects in sequence in order to grab a Futsu and cycle back. Then we're going to go for the Mitsurugi Ritual in order to tag out into a copy of Murakumo. We'll trigger the effect of the Habakiri in graveyard, summoning it back to our side of the field, and we'll activate the effect of the mirror in order to bring the Futsu to our side of the field as well. Finally, we are going to bring back the Murakumo. We will normal summon this copy of Aramasa to make a powerful IP Masquerade in play, and pass back to our opponent who draws a Fuwalos. They'll activate it, then activate Infib, targeting our Futsu. In main phase, they're going to begin with a copy of Habakiri of their own. Saji for Saji to the graveyard for Saji effect. You've probably seen this line before. They will grab the one of the two they are missing, then they're going to go for the Mitsurugi Ritual. We will Dominus Impulse that. The name of the game here is preventing them from resolving that Mitsurugi Ritual, and thankfully we have a couple of ways to do so. As the Saji makes it to their side of the field, they'll trigger the effect of the Kusanagi and then fire off the Ritual a second time. We have a Great Purification for this one, and then afterwards we're going to activate the effect of the Mirror and the Futsu in graveyard as well. Mirror back, Futsu to our side of the field. From this position, our opponent will normal summon a copy of Aramasa. We will IP Masquerena in order to send the Futsu to the graveyard for the SP Little Knight. It draws them a card, and oh my god, it's the best card in their deck. Okay, down comes the Ryuj half of the deck. They're going to go for extra Ryuj. They'll activate the effect. We will SP Little Knight, and then afterwards they will go for the effect of Node. We're going to activate Mitsurugi Prayers here for the Murakumo, and oh, did you just tribute Murakumo? We'll go for the effect of the Murakumo in order to bring it back and blow up the board. That's great news for us because they have nothing left in the tank. So it's time for game 2, and this time we are going second, which hilariously this deck just loves doing. Our opponent has Ash, Imperm, and then what appears to be Wasu Sword. We've got Impulse, Fuwalos, Triple Tack, so it's going to be a toughie. We're going to begin with the Fuwalos. That's going to net an Ash Blossom from our opponent. No big deal, no big deal. They'll go for Sword. Sword effect here is going to grab them a copy of Ext. They will go for the Ext. Then afterwards, they'll activate the Ext effect in order to grab Node. Overlay for a Duo Drive. Activate the Duo Drive effect. Unfortunately, we have nothing for that. Down comes Node. They'll activate the effect of the Node in order to summon back the Ext, and then overlay for a copy of King of the Pharolymphs. That's going to enable them to grab a Habakiri. They'll activate the Habakiri effect in order to summon a Saji and send the Saji to the graveyard. From here, they can activate the Saji effect in order to grab what they're missing. Ritual here. We will Dominus Impulse to the Ritual. Great stuff. It should cut them off pretty completely. They'll go Ryuj Cross here, shuffle a couple of cards back, and then afterwards they're going to set one and pass. Okay, we can do this. We'll draw for turn. Fuwalos is not really what we want. We'll go Prayers. They will go Ash Blossom. Scary. I think we have to go for Wasu, followed by the draw mode, and that's unbelievable. Habakiri here for Saji. Saji to the graveyard. Activate the effect of the Saji in the graveyard. That'll grab us the Ritual. We'll activate Mitsurugi Ritual. That'll allow us to summon a monster from our hand. We're going to go for the Habakiri, triggering the effect of the Kusanagi and the Arasama in sequence. From this position, we should be able to wrap it up. We're going to go for the ritual a second time in order to cheat out this copy of Futsu. Then afterwards, we can trigger the effect of the Habakiri in order to bring it back, and then activate the effect of the mirror in order to bring out our copy of Murakumo. We'll trigger the effect of the Futsu and the Murakumo and the Amino Murakumo. It will get impermed. They will have to discard to resolve it, but it is negated at least for the time being. Afterwards, we are just going to go ahead and make a Wasu with their monster and get in for lethal damage. These guys still have huge attack stats. So we're back with the deck, and yeah, it's that good. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. The new Mitsu cards give the deck a plethora of 1 and 2 card combos and options to play. Aramasa searches monsters on tribute, meaning easier access to your rituals, and Habakiri, of course, is an E-Tele tribute from deck, meaning you can instantly access any of the main deck tribute effects without committing anything. Magatama functions as great spot removal or a backup quick play ritual spell if you get charmied too hard or drolled. And to top it off, Wasu is an archetypal kaiju that procs the Mitsurugis in hand if needed, meaning the deck can now out-towers boards efficiently. All the benefits of the previous builds are here too, but now the deck can be played much more efficiently, even without the sub-engine of Ryuj. 2. The deck plays into on-field disruption really well. Prayers, Purification, Magatama attributing the rituals means they can dodge spot negation and removal, then come back from the attributed effect, as some decks really struggle to beat a Murakumo board that dodges an imperm. And 3. All darks. The engine is so strong that you get access to Running Impulse without any issues, one of the strongest cards in the format. To top it off, your engine plays are so powerful and so good at breaking boards that you can just afford to forego weaker non-engine like spot removal, no imperms, no veilers. Instead, you're running all 3 Charmies in main without a problem. And the cons. 1. There is one big con in the deck. Roland Lockbird. Some hands do play into it, and you can make conservative plays, but the ritual tribute effects that plus you so hard do require you to search before you can special summon them. So all those effects get completely shut out by Droll, and your end boards can be devastated completely. Sometimes a Droll after a pre-prep search can force you to pass on very little or even nothing at all. 2. The Bystials are problematic at times. A well-timed Bystial on a bad combo opening can remove a ritual from your end board, which makes it much weaker. And 3. Impulse is good, both for and against you. It is devastating against prayers, as locking you out of the ritual using materials from deck can stop your turn entirely. Overall, Mitsurugi and Malice are going to be the name of the game for the next few months. You might see them pure, or you might see them in Ryuj, but you're going to see them. So that's that. Thanks so much for watching. These 10-minute testings are made possible by, and occasionally suggested by, my patrons, some of whom have paid a fair amount of money to be mentioned at the end of the episode. Here they are: Elena Tincher, Alex Perea, Allison Elliott, Ally, Anthony S. Sierri, APK, Burly Tier 0, Brett Henry, Cameron Nower, Cool Name, Damon O'Neill, Dark Rebel XYZ, Durban Dragon, DJ Elefante, Emiliano Deverio, Envy Adams, Fabrizio Petroli, FPS Lord Derp, Garrett Ran, Hergalicious, Knight Mary, Legal Rights, Luis Hernandez, Lullaby of Souls, Matthew M. Derezzo, MBT Play Madolce, Mike Carlotti, N54 Lionheart, Nacho Gonzalez, Pombo, Project Mercury, Raymond GGEZ, Rohan Doge, Rose Lapine, Serpentax, Shelby Piet, Shifter.mp8, Sly Ninja 43, Soul CLG, Troy Says By Erasure is Gay, Who's Nick, Wonder Waffle, and Yuki Kazami. Couldn't have done it without you.